Multiple disturbing videos have emerged earlier today showing As I Lay Dying vocalist Tim Lambesis involved in altercations with his now estranged wife. Now, Tim has released a statement in response to this. It comes weeks after every other member of As I Lay Dying abruptly quit the band, just weeks before a European tour and a new album release. Of course, Tim was previously convicted in a murder-for-hire plot against his ex-wife. Here's everything we know about this shocking situation. It was just over 10 years ago that As I Lay Dying frontman Tim Lambesis pled guilty to charges that he attempted to hire a hitman to kill his estranged wife. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison, but released after serving less than 3. The details of the case were disturbing. According to prosecutors, Lambesis would give an undercover agent $1,000 for expenses, pictures of his estranged wife, a code to get into their house, and dates that he would be looking after their children. Following his release from prison, As I Lay Dying would reform in 2018, releasing a new album, Shaped by Fire, featuring the same lineup involved when Lambesis was arrested. But the reunion would quickly start to fall apart. By 2022, the lineup would look unrecognizable, with every other member of the band, except for Tim Lambesis and guitarist Phil Scroso, remaining as members. They would recruit new musicians, including guitarist Ken Susi, drummer Nick Pierce, formerly of Unearth, and bassist Ryan Neff from Miss May I. And that new lineup would only last a couple of years. Just a few weeks ago, on the verge of the release of their new album, every other member, except for Tim Lambesis, abruptly quit the band. There was lots of speculation about what was happening behind the scenes. Even Phil's longtime bandmate, guitarist Phil Scroso, said that he felt that the band no longer offered a healthy or safe environment for anyone involved, whether creatively, personally, or professionally. He said, "After witnessing some concerning patterns of behavior, I've realized that I can no longer, in good conscience, enable further actions that could negatively affect anyone working within this space." Lambesis would respond in a statement earlier this month, writing in part, "As I reflect, I certainly agree that there was an unhealthy environment that made leaving for a new tour with the previous lineup unrealistic. It had become difficult to figure out even the smallest details, and I admit I can stick strong to my vision for the future of As I Lay Dying, even when others think it should go in the other direction. It saddens me to think about the behaviors, communication, and patterns of interaction that led up to the tour cancellation. And now, just weeks after As I Lay Dying's shocking implosion, multiple disturbing videos of frontman Tim Lambesis have been widely circulated online. Due to the nature of these short videos, I've chosen not to show them, but will provide a detailed description instead. The clips are being widely circulated on social media. The first video is about 30 seconds long. It's unclear when it was filmed. It shows Lambesis sitting bedside in a bedroom as his wife sits on the bed. The audio in this video is muted, but it's clear the couple was having a tense conversation. As his wife sits up and says something, Tim is seen rushing and getting in her face. After a few seconds, Tim pulls away and rushes over to a suitcase in the corner, which he hits. He's enraged, throwing his hands up and down, screaming something. He moves back over to the bedside and sits down. His wife at this point appears to be crying. Tim can be seen shouting in her face for another 10 seconds before he begins violently punching himself in the head. Using both fists, he appears to punch himself in the head around 10 times before he also begins beating his chest. It's at this point when he looks over and sees a camera on the nightstand recording their interaction and quickly shuts the video off. In a second clip, which is around 20 seconds and was security footage dated September 6, 2024, the couple is in another heated argument, this time on a screened-in porch. It opens with Lambesis flipping a table that his wife was seated at. This video has audio. After he flipped the table she was sitting at, his wife got up and called him an expletive as she walked away. Lambesis followed her. It sounds like he's repeatedly saying, "Just love me." And he again begins punching himself in the head with both fists as his wife tells him to stop. Now, after these disturbing videos began circulating earlier today, Tim Lambesis has just released a statement in response to all of this, and he claims that all of this is happening because he served his wife with divorce papers yesterday. Here's more. In his statement, Lambesis wrote, "There is currently a restraining order and a domestic violence investigation being filed against Danny Norris, formerly Lambesis. Anything she is saying now is to distract people away from that, to instead focus on my own inappropriate but not illegal reactions to these anxiety-inducing interactions. This woman assaulted me and verbally and mentally abused me over 3 years. I took the much-needed and overdue step to leave her yesterday by delivering divorce papers. That is the reason there have been attempts at retaliation toward me online today that pale in comparison to what will really be the focus of the courts. The following evidences are part of the case. Multiple videos of her assaulting me. Videos of her chasing me around the house with a knife or scissors. Video of her insisting that I delete all other accounts of her physically assaulting me under threat of her knocking me out with a weapon held over my head. Photos of a black eye she gave me with witness accounts of the event. Witness accounts of me being threatened if I try to leave, even temporarily. I'm certain she will counter by trying to expose my anxiety-filled reactions and defenses. But please remember that reacting in panic by hurting myself is far different than what I've listed above. The timing of these public attacks online are because I served her with divorce papers yesterday, after many days of her pleading for me to stay, while also flipping back and forth to attempting to exert abusive control. This is blatantly a retaliation for me finally leaving a relationship I should have run from a long time ago. Wow. Troubling situation here, and it's hard not to wonder if there's a connection between the mass exit of every other member of As I Lay Dying just a few short weeks ago and what we're learning now. In Phil Scrosso's statement, he said the band no longer offered a healthy or safe environment. And so we're going to be keeping a close eye on this, likely more to come here. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, that's your latest update here from Rockfeed. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe with notifications on for the latest news and updates.